I have the nice privilege to make the intro. Yesterday I saw that when you're not able to keep your mouth a little bit more shut, then you get the intro. But that's in life, and I enjoy it because it's one part of, I think, the JUMP project as well, that everybody's giving what he can. And the intro looks like that. It's some sort of game I learned in my career as a teacher. When you want to bring the group together and you first coming on the stage or in front of all the students or so, that you have a nice little game and everybody feels invited to join. And the game looks like this. I ask you a question, and if you agree to this sentence or to this question and say yes, then you have to get up. And after that you can sit down again and you can have a look around who got up or who not. And yeah, sometimes the questions are not, the answers or the questions is not so comfortable for maybe some, but you will see most of them may get up, or some at least, and you're not alone, hopefully. And I've prepared some text because I can't remember all my questions, but yeah. The first question is very simple. Those who stand up, who already gone on a mountain which was taller than 3,000 meters. As those who climbed up a mountain. Okay, thank you. Yeah, walked up, climbed up, whatever. Okay, whatever, okay. Some more. Okay, thank you. Who lives now in a straw bale house, or at least a part of it is insulated with straw? These persons can get up. Okay. Who has ever? Herbert is already standing. He answers all questions with yes, as me as well. Who ever drove an electrical car? Okay, some of you. Yeah, or sit in. You don't have to be on the wheel. Okay. Okay. One question, who had in sports a not really good trainer, a bad trainer? In sports, when he was teach sports to play football or volleyball or whatever, or running. Okay. Who has been nervous in standing in front of an audience, a bigger audience, the first time? Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay. So you see how I am shaky a little bit, but yeah. Whoever had to make in school, how it's called, 1 year again, because he was not able to pass the final exam. Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Who lives more than 200 kilometers away from here? More than 200 kilometers away from here? 200. Okay, also a lot of part because we are so international. Okay, maybe sit down. Should we ask for 2,000 kilometers? Is one here who is more? No, I don't think. 2,000 kilometers? 2,000? Oh, close to the border, but yeah. Okay. Okay, difficult question. Who has a got the feeling that in a group you are attending, that you don't, that you are misunderstand it or not understand it well in this group? You ever had the feeling that it's you getting misunderstood? Ever?
Any group, any time.
Every time. Okay. Okay. So many people, okay, got misunderstood. Who has searched for an worker to build a house he was thinking of or want to plan, like an ecological house or so, and he was not able to find some worker for this task? Okay. Okay. And the last question is who's attending a project named JUMP? And yeah. And try to jump together. So yes. And I would say, I think we said that now all the JUMP persons and which are attending this project are coming out for a while. And
come on stage.
Come on stage and get nervous. So thank you, the others, for doing that.
Well done, Florian.
Request for changing at least one of the questions.
Yeah.
So this is JUMP team, a very international team. And I ask Helmut now to introduce what we have done until now. We are in the first third of this JUMP project, Training for Change. And Helmut will summarize what we already have done. So it's about what also Florian told you a little bit about being a good craftsman, for example, is not enough to be a good trainer. So what are the skills of a good trainer? And this is what we want to find out in this project. And maybe we find some answers today as well in our discussion. It's for sure trust, motivation, a little bit charismatic doesn't is not a problem, let's say that. So I ask you to sit down that people see the pictures as well.
What I'm doing is I tried to understand the project, and the way I do try to understand things is writing about it. And so I came up with a short description of what I think it is about. I worked it over with Rowland so that the English version is sounding English. And it got approved more or less, so we're going to read this in 2 languages. And after that, I will ask the partners, one by one, to present themselves and the organizations. And when it comes to specific content, one of them is a pilot off. He will combine the presentation with telling a little bit about this part of the actual project. Okay, that was the introduction of the introduction, and now the introduction. Technik ohne Vision ist wertlos. Vision ohne Technik ist wirkungslos.
Technology without vision is worthless. Vision without technology is ineffective.
JUMP
Jump!
ist ein Train-the-Trainer-Projekt im Bereich ökologisches Bauen. Es will Technik und Vision zu etwas Größerem verbinden. Nachhaltigkeit, Ganzheitlichkeit, Menschlichkeit.
Is Train the Trainer project in the field of ecological building? It aims to combine technology and vision into something greater, which is sustainable, holistic and humanistic.
Want the change! In puncto Technik baut das Projekt JUMP auf den über Jahrzehnte erarbeiteten Fertigungsmethoden im Strohballenbau und im Earthbuilding auf. Beide Bauweisen wurden in ETSWET-zertifizierten Trainings gelehrt.
In terms of technology, the JUMP project is based on the manufacturing methods developed over decades in straw bale and earth building. Both methods of construction are taught in the EXVET certified courses.
Im Fokus stehen der Einsatz nachhaltiger, baubiologisch vorteilhafter Materialien, Ressourcenschonung, erneuerbare Energien, Solararchitektur etc.
The attention is focused on the use of sustainable, biologically beneficial materials, conservation of resources, renewable energy, solar architecture.
Join the change! Die Vision fügt dem das Attribut ganzheitlich hinzu und bestimmt Werte auf der immateriellen Ebene.
The vision adds the attribute holistic and specifies values at the intangible level.
Probleme kann man niemals mit derselben Denkweise lösen, durch die sie entstanden sind. Ein Zitat von Albert Einstein. Bedeutet, eine Veränderung des Systems ist nur möglich durch eine Veränderung der Grundlagen des Systems.
Albert Einstein's word, problems can never be solved with the same way of thinking that created them, means to change a system change is inevitable.
Ein Systemwandel ist unumgänglich. Kooperation statt Konkurrenz. Mitbestimmung, ein Ende von Profit als oberstem Ziel des Wirtschaftens auf der Basis des gefährlichen Mythos vom ewigen Wachstum. Der Fokus liegt auf dem Gemeinwohl.
Cooperation rather than competition, co-determination, an end to profit as the paramount economic objective, based on the dangerous myth of eternal growth. The focus lies on the common good.
Be the change! Für einen so fundamentalen Paradigmenwechsel bedarf es wahrlich eines mutigen Jump. Damit auch dieser selbst nachhaltig ist, fließen alle erworbenen Kompetenzen, Kenntnisse und Fähigkeiten in die Ausarbeitung eines Lehrgangs zur erweiterten Trainerausbildung.
For such a fundamental paradigm shift, you really need a brave jump. To make this truly sustainable, all acquired competencies, knowledge and skills contribute to the creation of a course for extended training of trainers.
Lernen ist Entwicklung und Veränderung. Lernen ist menschlich.
Learning is development and change. Learning is human.
Teach the change!
Do you have a running order? Who's next? Is by alphabetical.
Yes, there are here the organizations like Arthur with
Okay.
What is it? What? It's a presenting organization. So I have already presented a little bit of our organization connected to STEP, to Strobel training. But here you see our organization, the Eco Center, which we have and where we can train. And I think this should be short, yes, just... So we are architects, craftsmen, we are about 70, we are a nationwide organization, and we do a lot of things to promote sustainable architecture, but the most serious part so far was training in eco-building, and we have our courses, some of them are accredited by our Ministry of Education. Well, it's increasing, but last year it was almost every weekend apart from summer. So it's very, yes, because we train in earth building, earth plastering, Strobel building, and then renovations of old buildings, which we developed to save our culture. old traditional buildings because people don't know what to do with it. So, and we have many small things. We also do, for example, for the our village, like open Sundays or something, so that we would also work on local. What? Open day. Yeah. Yep. Aha. So this. Yes. Yeah. So this is. No, it will be short. So. In first task in this project, JUMP, it was to find out what we all stand for, like what values in eco-building training, and that we had to find out between us, and also like what we would, how we would address the other people. So. Because of that, we first investigated what is existing, what charters exist, and which we refer to. And so we did a big inventory, the whole list, and then we chose some which we rely to. And so now from this start, this is for us start, and also talking what change means to us. So from this we can create our charter or our memorandum of our understanding. And this is not an easy process, but it's a very interesting process.
Thank you, Zuzana.
Thank you.
Next one is ASBN.
Yeah. So we're presenting ourselves, yeah, and as Herbert did a marvelous job in telling you a lot of things that ASBN is doing. I haven't much to add, actually. In the weeks before this meeting, I sent out 4 questions to the partner organizations about what you want with your organization, and why do you want it, and how do you try to reach your goal. And they were all answered very nicely. And the last question I like most, it's what is your superpower? And I just give our answer to the last question, because you will see it's just the truth. A pure passion-driven mixture of knowledge, experience, and imagination. So that's Herbert and me, and the ASBN is all together. So, and so next one should be Aster, yeah. And yeah.
Yeah, Aster is a French network for house builder, professional house builder. It had been created in 2006, and we try to promote house building to valorize actors of the sector. Because we think, we believe earth is a material of past, of heritage. Earth is also a material for the future and for today. So today we are working in between the links between past and future. We have many activities. In France, we create events, we inform, and we also support actively more 10 years ago with other European organization training in earth building, in earth plastering in the beginning and after earth building. and our superpower. Yeah. May Earth be with you. We come from Earth and we return to Earth, and between we can use it, with careful, and we try to. We know that we can build with it, so we just hope to share this. Mm.
1.3.
Yeah, I see. Yes, in jump we don't make that have made it what will be made before. So we are pilot in this unit in this task inventory of unit learning outcome and assessment tool. More about teaching. We find something, and it will help us to make our task, but not making into same aims. Not remake. The word is make.
Thank you, Luc. Yeah. Next in line is Bivena from Germany, and Michael will introduce again.
Yes, as I told you a little bit, Bivena is coming out of FASPA, of the German straw bale organization, and we found out we have more than only straw bales. We have also clay, and so what can we do with this? And we have to teach the people what they have to do with this, and what is the game of this of straw and clay. And the game was to build houses and to be proud of these houses and to find there is a new future in front of, and to reach the new future, maybe if it's not now, but next. And so we are starting to teach people since 5 years now, and we have courses for straw bale building, for earth building, for students, architects, and so on. And you can see what they have done. They have built a house in the barn where we are. And this house, normally it's not possible to build in Germany. It's forbidden. But they have done this. Why? And sometimes it's only the why is the question and the answer.
This house means it's a load-bearing building.
Yeah. And when I was young, I always asked why. And so I will ask you now, why? Do you have an answer? Maybe next. And that's what we do.
Superpower.
Thank you, Michael Fischer
Yes,
from Bivena.
Our superpower, I've forgotten, is to play with reality and for reality.
Thank you. Oops. Ebuki is the next one in line.
A builder, an architect, and an academic went to a conference, and there they met a German, and he said, "Where is your national clay building association?" And he kept saying it until we actually had a wall behind us and we couldn't go anywhere else. So it was an interesting thing that it happened to be a builder and an architect and an academic. And so when we thought about the challenge of making a national organization for earth building, we realized that making a national organization for earth building, which was about architects, only 2% of architects is really interested. And if you made it, the academic happened to be an architect, an academic engineer. And if you'd made this association with engineers only, maybe 2% of engineers is interested. And the builder also realized that most builders are not really interested, maybe 2%. Now, if you take all of these groups and all of the other groups that's involved in construction and living, you'll find these 2%. And when you add them up, you get a much bigger number. And they're all spread around the whole country, all over the place. This summer, I've been reading a bit of physics, just for fun. And one of the things that really struck me in reading about physics again was this idea that gravity, which holds me here and holds you in your seats there and holds the moon to pass around us every day and holds us to pass around the sun, is called the weak force. It's a strange idea, isn't it? This power that can hold whole planets and solar systems together is a weak force. And this is what we've seen with clay. Clay is this weak binder. It's weak. You talk to any engineer, you talk to anyone. I mean, it just washes away in the rain. Everybody knows, huh? But somehow these weak forces are able to bind us together as a national association and do all sorts of things. As Azte has said, events and research and training and just to sort of be there so that when you're working away and it's pouring with rain and you just hit your thumb with the hammer, that you can feel that there are these other people out there dealing with these weak forces. This is something that's quite important, that we support each other. And despite what you may read in the newspaper, we also know that we need this wider net called Europe, and we hold on to it as tight as we can. The Ebuki was chosen for some reason to be the pilot on competence standards for trainers in eco-construction, maybe because we worked on the competence standards for the ECVET units, which some of you may know about. And really what this is doing is, we're slightly out of order here, but Liddy will tell you about gathering this information together from all of these different building groups around Europe. And now 1.4 is trying to take the words of all of these different groups and see where is the repetition, where is the things that we agree on, where is the things that we've never heard of before, and to make them into a form. It's like a long form of ideas and concepts which we can put into a competent standard. With the ECVET units, it was much more technocratic. You do this, and then you do this, and then you do this. But with teaching training, there are a much wider group of, this is what I was referring to earlier today, there's this much wider group of issues which are harder to you can't really, with the expression in English is you have a jelly for pudding and you try to nail it onto the wall. It's rather a difficult thing, and this is what we're playing with in 1.4, is to see how can we get these other less solid ideas and put them into a form which people can understand. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Rowland. Keable from Ebuki.
Oh, superpower, yeah.
You don't want to know
I
it.
don't even have to say it because I've done it all to you. But just in case you're deaf, it's mind control.
So, thank you that this was no great applause.
Apologies. Ebuki run an event called Clayfest, and we do all of these earth-building activities. You're welcome next June in Wales.
Not just partner, but lead partner is Fédération Éco-Construire, and Ludie Didier will present this organization.
Okay. I will start a little bit broader than just the organization. I would want to start with what's going on in France in the eco-construction sector, because often the French people, they think they are not as good as their German neighbors because Deutsche Qualität and so on. They think the German earth building sector is much, or earth building or eco-construction sector in general is much stronger and more reliable or whatever. And I observed that the French, they have something the German don't have, and I'm not sure how much the others have it in Europe. It's a very strong training network that has been developing since more than 35 years, I would say. And from this movement, there were created associations more than 20 years ago. So these were the pioneers, the first clay builders, or then the first straw bale builders and so on. So they had these associations, and they very quickly started to teach. And often very short courses, weekend courses or even shorter, and then maybe week-long courses and so on. So from there, they developed this competence and also the network. And by 2008, they had enough training organizations like that all over the country that they decided they would create this federation of these training centers specialized in eco-construction. And so in November, Fédération Eco-Construire will celebrate its 10th birthday. And so the specific thing about this is also that they have in these training centers long-term courses now. It's they have two, well, one really old already, almost 10 years or more, qualification recognized on a national level by the ministry, and a younger one. And the first one was more centered, it started more from the heritage part, like working with natural materials like in the old traditional buildings. And the second was more initiated from the sustainable building motivation part. But so they have these several months long qualifications that they share within the federation, and work also on sharing experience and sharing teaching materials and so on. What did I forget? Nothing. The superpower. Together we are strong.
Yes. Yeah.
What do I have to do to get there? Okay, so 1.2. So this is our intellectual output number 1.2. It's so you have heard Luc talking about making an inventory of existing descriptions of the trainer's skills, knowledge, and competence. So existing competence standards, there are many in all of the continents. And Rowland has been talking about our own competence standard that we want to develop, the way we want to describe how what the trainer needs to teach sustainable construction. And in between these two, we had this working group starting from what is our way of teaching. So basically during this stage of the project, we have interviewed all the trainers in our associations, in our different organizations. We had, so we are 8 organizations, 8 times, I don't know, I can't remember, 10 trainers maybe. So we had many, these online meetings with the different partners where Rowland and myself, we asked them a series of questions. And the first question is, what do you do as a trainer? So that's not so easy to answer. It's like one day we did it with cob builders and we asked them, what do you do? And the cob builder said, well, we make cob. And then they talked about a lot of other things that they do in addition, like marketing and dealing with architects and so on. But then we still didn't know what they do. When you say, I make cob, what does it mean? What do you actually do? Well, I mix the earth. Okay, but even more. But what is the thing that you are doing when you mix earth? And so we started the same game with the trainers. What do you do? Well, I teach. Okay, but what do you do when you teach? So we tried really to push them to go to the very, very, very precise level. I ask questions, I do this, I invite, I repeat, I hand over tools, and so on. And we had, at the end, now we have a 40 pages document with in very detailed manner about what are the concrete things that the trainers do. So it was about the trainers, what they do, but it's also about their attitudes and behaviors. There was a question about their skills and knowledge, about the equipment they use, the tools they use. And then there was also a question about how they see the future trends and developments in their job as a trainer. And so this is our base, like our raw material that we now started to process in the working groups and trying to break it, not to break it down, but now to delete all the double, the triple, and so on, and put it into different packages. And this gives us the material to go on and to go to the 014 and so on. And now I know what I forgot to say for the federation. The federation, they have so 14 training centers, but actually it's altogether about 500 trainers that work for all these training centers, because often it's craftspeople that teach. There are some employed trainers that are there all year long in these training centers, but very often for precise modules they will subcontract to external trainers. So it's 500 people that are concerned and that we could in the future hopefully interest to get trained with the training for change modules. And also another figure that I forgot, I'm not 100% sure about this, but it's about 5,000 people at least that have been trained by all these training centers over the years in these long-term qualifications. That's for France and for 012.
Thank you, Ludivier.
RFCP is a French network for straw building, and we work about create relationships between the different actors of the straw, the architect, the carpenter, the engineer, and all the persons who want to work with the straw and to find the client with a network to develop in each region in France the straw. For me now, I'm national coordinator about the training, and I help all the. We have 40 training centers and 80 trainers about develop and about train in each region about the straw. Superpower, we want to transform the straw in gold.
Thank you, Pierre. Next partner is Tillitsverket, Stiftelsen Johannes Dahls Initiativet from Sweden.
So hi, my name is Patrik. So if you haven't got this, JUMP is really dealing with some really exciting stuff. Because so what you've heard all day is that as eco-constructors, you need to know all you need to know about the materials and building techniques, as much as you need to know about yourselves. We as humans, what we do and how we act together. And I mean, you won't succeed, or you only succeed as far as we're able to collaborate with each other, to communicate with each other, to have trust in each other, in ourselves, and have empathy towards each other. And Tillitsverket, we're a Swedish organization who are focusing on the human parts of sustainability. And we do this by creating space for adults, youth, and children to explore their own human capacities. And within JUMP, we're part of JUMP in order for us together to explore how we can do something new, in how we can think and feel and do differently within eco-construction, and how we can really make something new where the human part and Earth come together. And of course it sounds very advanced, but you in the eco-construction community, you know that the most advanced things can often be the most simple ones. And that's why we in Tillitsverket, what we're doing is we're creating space for play and creativity. Because that's where we can explore in a safe space how we work as humans. And therefore, we would like to invite you for 2 exercises that we do within. We do a lot of different exercises, but these are just 2 examples that we do within JUMP, where we do this stuff and then we talk about it and reflect on it and see what does that mean for us as a group and for the eco-construction community as a whole. So would you like to be part of it? Yeah! Okay, yeah. Great. So I invite you all to come out to the grass outside. So I'll give you some instructions afterwards. You don't need to bring anything else than yourselves out there. Thanks. Very good. So this exercise is a playful one, which we do in order to explore trust and collaboration. Okay? And it's pretty simple. We will do it quietly. I will show with Anders, who's also from Tillitsverket. So, what you'll do is, one of you will close your eyes. The other one will put your hand in the middle of the back, up here. You all see that? Yeah? Okay, stop. And so, I got the hand on his back. And as soon as I want him to go, I just slowly push him forward. And if I want him to go to his right, I just move my hand a bit. And if I want him to go to the left, I move it to the other side. And how do I want, when I want him to stop, I just let go. The most important thing in this exercise is to stop when you don't feel the hand anymore. Okay? There's normally no injuries in this game, but that would be the one. Okay?
First time in Austria.
We will do this together, all of us on this grass. The one who's leading the other one, is responsible that you don't go outside the grass. Okay? So it's only on this grass yard here. Okay. And there's one more thing. When you walk around, it's important that the one who's closing his eyes really feels backward. You're going to move forwards, but feel the hand backwards, because otherwise I will see many who tries to push the other one forward and the other one is going like this. Okay? And then you will just bump into each other, I promise you. So just try to feel. This is an exercise of collaboration. You're collaborating when you're doing this, but the one who's also closed his eyes needs to feel the trust for the other one. So please go ahead. And we do it totally quietly. We don't talk.
No talking.
No talking. Please go ahead and start. And stop. And now you switch. The other one leaves to the right. Thank you. So talk a little bit 2 and 2. How was this? One interesting thing, many used to reflect that some people feel that the hardest part in this exercise is to lead someone, and others think the hardest part is to be led. So if you go to yourself, raise your hand, how many would feel that the hardest part was to close your eyes and walk? The harder part. That was the harder part. And the rest of you thought it was harder to feel responsibility of the other one? Yeah. No, it was the same for you. Since we have just so little time, we'll actually continue with the new one. I would like you to walk over to one of the ends of the ropes that you see in the grass and take it up with one hand. And then just stand still. The first rule is that you will never let go of the rope with the hand you're holding the rope with. So you don't change hand, you just hold it tightly. You never drop the rope. The second rule is that you keep quiet. You are not allowed to talk. And now I give you the assignment to make a knot of this rope, of all these ropes. So when you're finished, all the rope has been gathered in a knot in the center, and you all stand close to each other with no rope further than into the knot. Do you understand? Yes. So please go ahead, quietly.
Right. In our group, it was the parts when we went stuck, it stopped working. Right. When we were not communicating, it was flowing.
Communicating
and
instead like...
Yeah, trying to tell what has to be done.
There's 2 rules and a task, and if you just think about the rules and you forget the task, then nothing happens.
It was also, I think, most important was the starting point. If nobody forced the others to start, nobody will start. Maybe I think it was, yeah. You can think of strategies, and yeah, you have to make the first step, or one of the group has to make the first.
Someone has to take the initiative.
Yeah, and say, okay, I do it now.
I'll jump. Yeah.
I think it was him.
So was there anyone who felt difference in tying the knot and then untying it?
To make it, you don't have to collaborate, but
less.
To without him, you have to collaborate. No, you can make. Everybody can make what he wants. We'll giving a nudge. But to get it out, you have to work together.
And when in the beginning, the moment my rope was too short, so I have to wait. I have to collaborate waiting.
And you are obliged because it was too short.
Yeah, that's right.
The second part was much easier.
Sorry, what did you say?
The second part for me was much easier because it was given what you had to do. So just looking at the thing and then unwind it. So the first one was kind of arbitrary. You could do or you couldn't, but the second one was really, okay, everybody knew what to do. So it was really fluent.
It became a dance.
Yeah.
But for the first one, the goal was to create this knot, so you have to be very creative to create this. I don't think that if everybody is doing nothing, so nothing happens, you know. So you have to force a little bit yourself to get into the movement.
So, with that, it's time, and thank you for taking part in these two exercises. And I believe, Herbert, that it's coffee time.